Patuloy ang kamustahan kasama ang mga balik scientists ngayong Biyernes sa DOST Report. Ang mga balik scientists ang magbabahagi ng dahilan kung bakit nila iniwan ang buhay abroad at piniling maglingkod sa bayang Sinilangan. Kilalanin sina Dr. Annabel P. Villalobos, Consultant, Johnson & Johnson Biopharmaceuticals, 2012, 2014, 2017, 2019, and 2020 balik scientist. Thomas Neil B. Pascual, 2019 and 2020 balik scientist. DOST, Philippine Nuclear Research Institute. Raymond Francis R. Sarmiento, Director and Research Assistant, Professor 5, National Telehealth Center, University of the Philippines, Manila, 2016, balik scientist. Lahat ng yan at iba pang balita tungkol sa agamat teknolohiya sa bansa ngayong nagdaang linggo mula mismo kay DOST Secretary Fortunato Boy de la Peña. Pakarutukan lahat ng yan sa DOST Report tuwing Biyernes alas 4 ng hapon sa DOST TV Facebook page at YouTube channel. Magandang araw Pilipinas, alas 4 naman ng hapon, oras na para sa mga nababanong balita tungkol sa agam at teknolohiya sa bansa. Ito ang DOST Report. Ako po si Oren Miranda, ang inyong kapatid sa Mabawid at kasama po natin ang kalihim ng kagawaran ng agam at teknolohiya, ang nag-iisang DOST Secretary Fortunato Boy de la Peña. Magandang araw po, Secretary.
Magandang araw naman sa iyo, Onin, at sa ating mga taga-subaybay.
Hindi lamang po buwan ng wika ang ating pagdiriwang ngayong araw, isang pagsaludo rin po ang ating iaalay para sa magiging makabayan ng ating mga balik scientists. Maya-maya po lamang ay makakapanayan natin ng ilang mga balik scientists na piniling bumalik sa Pilipinas upang gamitin ang kanilang kakayahan at taus-pusong maglingkod sa bayan. Pero bago yan, makibalita muna tayo sa mga updates sa science and technology programs sa bansa. Narito po ang Secretary Boy.
Salamat, Onin. Gaya ng dati, mag-uumpisa tayo sa kalusugan at kabuhayan, tapos ay sa kaayusan at kinabukasan. Sa kalusugan, the first item here is coming from the Philippine Council for Health Research and Development, or DOST PCHRD. They have approved a project to study the socio-cultural factors associated with mental health concerns, particularly of college students. So PCHRD is now supporting a project that will explore these socio-cultural determinants of the 4 leading mental health illnesses, namely anxiety, depression, self-harm, and suicidal ideation among university-level students. The project, which just started in June 2021, is led by Dr. Maria Carines Alejandria from the University of Santo Tomas and will be implemented in partnership with various public and private universities nationwide. Hopefully, the study's findings, information, education, and communication materials will be produced, and evidence-based recommendations will be forwarded to those involved in the development of mental health policies for college students. The research is the first project out of a 3-component program entitled Depression, Anxiety, Self-Harm, and Suicidal Behavior among Students in Higher Education Institutions, Socio-Cultural Determinants, Detection, and Intervention towards Social Emotional Learning. This is a collaborative study. The second item comes from the DOST Philippine Council for Industry, Energy, and Emerging Technologies R&D, and it is a report, an update on their health researches, health-related researches. So the DOST shared has reported the following updates on ongoing health-related projects that they are supporting. First, Researchers from the Ateneo de Manila University have already printed 8 out of 10 targeted CAP sensor prototypes and performed antibacterial testing on the material. On the other hand, the research team from De La Salle University are currently testing its photoluminescent metals against various bacteria to determine its efficacy in detecting such. They are also coordinating with the Hokkaido University for possible collaboration on the project. A project team from San Carlos College have completed schematics for the prototypes of the thermal scanner helmet and secured feedback, comments, and suggestions on the device. The third item on Kalusugan is from the DOST Food and Nutrition Research Institute. They have partnered with Sick Kids Foundation for the Philippine Anemia Exemplar Study. DOSTF-NRI is partnering with Sick Kids Foundation on the implementation of the Philippine Anemia Exemplar Study. The project aims to assess the drivers of anemia reduction among Filipino women of reproductive age or those aged between 15 to 49 years old by exploring the perspective of key national nutrition stakeholders, community health workers, and women of reproductive age. Specifically, the project aims to assess the maternal health and nutrition policies, programs, and strategies implemented that may have contributed to the maternal anemia reduction. Also to determine the budget allocated for maternal anemia relevant policies. Programs and interventions and the sources of funds at the national and local levels will be studied, and they will try to identify the facilitating factors that have contributed to the reduction of anemia among women of reproductive age. Now we move on to Kabuhayan, and we have many of these reports. The first one is coming from the DOST PICARD, our Philippine Council for Agriculture, Aquatic, and Natural Resources, R&D, saying that they have introduced a communal integrated vegetable and native chicken production project in Siquijor. And this communal integrated vegetables, native chicken, and vermicompost production is benefiting 35 members of the Bitaog Small Coconut Farmers Association, or BISMACOFA, which is located in Siquijor. The initiative forms part of the ongoing DOST PICARD project in Siquijor under the SMP Community-Based for Inclusive Development Program. The project in Siquijor is led by the Siquijor State College under the leadership of Dr. Filna Palong-Palong. And through the active participation and cooperation among farmer members, they are now continuously propagating vegetable seedlings to be planted in their communal farm, and some seedlings are sold to neighbors, community, schools in Barangay Bitaog, and other individuals. Now, the farmers per Purok are now starting to harvest some of their vegetables, and their native chicken are now regularly producing eggs, and some have already produced the chicks. They are in close coordination with the LGU and the other national government agencies towards sustainable implementation of the project. Higher production and income for the farmer beneficiaries and fresh food products for their families are the project's benefits. From DOST, Forest Products Research and Development Institute, or FPRDI, they have reported on exploring potential sources of flavors and fragrances from our forest through a research program entitled Fragrances and Flavors from the Forest Technology Program. The goals of the program are to develop protocols for sustainable and responsible harvesting of non-timber forest products for flavors and fragrances. They also want to upgrade and transfer the FPRDI developed extractor that they are using, and to establish an R&D facility for the development of technologies and products for flavors and fragrances. The forests, both timber and non-timber, provide a multitude of flavors and fragrances. Among these, include gums, resins, and oils, which are commercially important non-timber forest products, and also tannins, which can be extracted from barks, from leaves, from wood, and reused to enhance flavors of some beverages like wine, beer, fruit juice, and tea. From our DOST, Industrial Technology Development Institute, or ITDI, they have reported that they have developed spray-dried natural flavors from fermented fish and shrimps. The DOST Industrial Technology Development Institute, through its food processing division, has developed natural flavors from traditional bagoong balayan and bagoong alamang in powder form through the spray drying method. Spray drying converts a slurry into a dry powder by rapid drying with hot gas, resulting in consistent, fine, and particle-sized powder. Examples of spray-dried products are instant coffee, instant tea, milk powders, stevia sweetener, and instant fruit juices. The optimized spray drying process from the traditional bagoong offers convenience since the product can be packed in small pouches that are less bulky than traditional bottled bagoong. It can be used in flavoring mixes and easily manipulated as the product is very soluble. Now, a report from the Philippine Textile Research Institute says that they have conducted field verification of silkworm rearing with farmer partners in Misamis Oriental and Cagayan de Oro City. From 5 different locations in Misamis and Oriental and Cagayan de Oro, 4 UPTRI third instar silkworm hybrid larvae were delivered for field verification rearing to pioneering sericulture farmer partners. The first cycle of simultaneous rearing already produced the trial harvest of 48 kilograms of fresh cocoons. And the full cooperation of groups in Cagayan de Oro City, namely the Tinipagan Agroforestry Association in Barangay Tagpangi and Cagayan de Oro Resettlement, and Socialized Housing Project 4 in Barangay Balubal, along with 2 individual partners in Claveria, namely Florisa Ducuyan and Alfredo Ampo, have been their cooperators. Panampawan led to the success of the activity. A control set of the same hybrids were reared in a 5th location. The group of women rearers in Barangay Balubal, Cagayan de Oro City produced the best cocoons in terms of size and weight, and they received the highest payment for their output. 2 more sets of rearing cycles this year using the same hybrids in the same locations will complete the final leg of the field trials. Now, we have a report coming from DOST Region 2, and this is the graduation of 39 OFWs in the phase 1 of our I-Forward program, which is innovation for Filipinos working distantly from the Philippines. 39 of them who come from Regions 2, Region 6, and Region 12. And they dubbed themselves as Batch Maunlad, were given recognition for completing the first phase of the program. Innovations for Filipinos working distantly from the Philippines program implemented by DOST Region 2. This program offers opportunities for OFWs and their families in establishing technology-based enterprises in the country. Phase 1 provides the business development and consultation meetings, while in this particular case, the concluding ceremony was held virtually on June 30. In addition to the DOST Secretary and other Secretary for Regional Operations, the regional directors of DOST Region 6, Region 12 also attended. And our partner in conducting training, EDSA Pinoy Volunteers Foundation Incorporated, was represented by Mr. Miguel Unson III. Now, coming from DOST Region 7, they have extended enhanced mushroom cultivation technology to Cebu Province mushroom growers. DOST Region 7, through their Provincial Science and Technology Center in Cebu, provided technology support to the Cebu Province Mushroom Growers Agriculture Cooperative on the implementation of enhanced mushroom cultivation technology solutions. The initiative was marked on July 14, 2021, through the signing of Memorandum of Agreement between the DOST Region 7 through PSTC Cebu and the Cebu Province Mushroom Growers Agricultural Cooperative. Now, from the DOST Metals Industry Research and Development Center, they have a report that they have licensed a local machine shop in Zamboanga, Sibugay for the production of their abaca fiber stripping technology. And the DOST Metals Industry Research and Development Center signed the agreement on July 28, 2021 as a non-exclusive limited manufacturing agreement with Bongbong Mechanical Shop, which is a local machine shop enterprise in the province of Zamboanga, Sibugay, for piloting the fabrication of an improved portable manual abaca fiber stripping machine. And this initiative aims to provide a viable technology that can be conveniently used by abaca farmers and that can be easily transported to mountainous abaca plantations. Now, item 11 comes from DOST Region 10, and they are helping in the establishment of a banana flour processing facility in Iligan City. So, Region 10 is supporting the establishment of this banana flour processing facility in Iligan City, and it will benefit 50 farmers in Iligan. The project will utilize agricultural byproducts to create additional sources of income for the members of the Iligan Agri-Rainbow Producers Cooperative and their associated farmers. Still in Region 12, we have a major milk company in Misamis Oriental that has reported that their income has doubled through the interventions of the Small Enterprise Technology Upgrading Program. This is the Northern Mindanao Federation of Dairy Cooperatives, or more known as Highland Fresh. They are now earning twice its regular profit after availing of the DOST Set-Up program. Despite the pandemic, the company earned their highest gross sales, amounting to about 64 million the previous year. The company of consolidated small-scale dairy farmers were also able to provide local employment to a total of 56 people from their expanded market outlets across provinces in Northern Mindanao. With 278% increase of production, efficiency, and improved capacity through the equipment upgrade and the use of technological interventions. Now, from Caraga, we have a report that they are to help establishing a cassava processing facility in Lasicam Cluster, Gigakit, Surigao del Norte. DOST Caraga through DOST Surigao del Norte conducted already a site visit last July 27 for the finalization of the plant layout for the cassava processing facility. As one of the identified interventions for the project Science and Technology Intervention for transforming into a resilient, peaceful, and competitive community in Lasicam Cluster, Gigakit, Surigao del Norte. DOST will embark on the utilization of relevant technologies and the provision of livelihood opportunities complemented with technology training to the establishment of the cassava processing facility for the Soksokon Coconut Farmers Association. This is located in Barangay Kamamonan in Region 12. Other interventions include the deployment of Starbucks to schools under the CES program of DOST. The Memorandum of Agreement between DOST, LGU Gigakit, and the Soksokon Coconut Farmers Association was signed last July 5, 2021 to legally bind all parties to their respective duties and responsibilities. Now, from our National Capital Region, they have reported that their set-up beneficiaries or Small Enterprise Technology Upgrading Program beneficiaries have showcased their strengths and talents in the 2021 Productivity Olympics Pandemic Edition. This is sponsored by the National Wages and Productivity Commission and its regional tripartite wages and productivity boards. And they awarded 4 of DOST NCR's set-up beneficiaries as regional winners of the 2021 Productivity Olympics Pandemic Edition. They have displayed exemplary performance and resilience amidst the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. And so the National Wages Board, okay, and the Regional uh, Wage Board awarded, okay, the Aretay Foods Corporation, Compaq Pharmaceuticals Corporation, and Ideatex Packaging Corporation as regional winners under the industry small category, while Sunlight Foods Corporation was a regional winner among the 100 under the industry medium category. The four set-up beneficiaries were also among the 132 MSMEs that took part in the Science, Technology, and Innovation Productivity Improvement Program in NCR. The NCR DOST and the RTWPB NCR collaborated for the training series where the subject matter experts tackled 9 productivity improvement modules, okay, through a need-based ladderized approach towards system improvement and resiliency. So yan ang ating kabuuan sa kalusugan at kabuhayan.
Maraming salamat po, Secretary Boy. Marami pang balita tungkol sa gamang teknolohiya ang ibabahagi namin sa inyo. Sa magbabalik po yan ng DOST Report.
With our research, we can turn these floods into a source of life for many Filipino communities.
Instead of being destructive forces, excessive rains can be used for hydropower, irrigation, and domestic use.
Para sa pagkakatuloy na ikalawang bahagi ng DOST Report, narito po muli Secretary Boy.
Salamat, Onin. Sa kaayusan, ang una nating i-report ay isang model na dinevelop ng National Research Council of the Philippines for future Philippine agri-waste facilities. NRCP has funded a project which developed a model of agricultural waste-based integrated biorefinery. The member who implemented this is Michael Francis Benjamin, and the title of this study is Development of a P-graph-based model for designing Philippine agricultural waste-based integrated biorefinery. Benjamin and his team were able to develop sustainable designs using input-output modeling. Also of a biomass-led integrated biorefinery where the country may achieve such eventual benefits. An IBR or biorefinery refers to an IBR or biorefinery refers to an integrated biomass processing plant or facility that produces several bioenergy products like bioethanol, biodiesel, biofertilizer, and electricity using raw materials from rice production byproducts. Generally, this integrated biorefinery products decrease carbon emissions by avoiding uncontrolled and open burning of agricultural waste to the countryside, therefore reducing dependence on fossil fuels and the decrease in the need for raw material as inputs, and produce various low carbon fuels. The results of this study will help in developing strategies to meet energy requirements of a locality through the utilization of available agricultural waste. There is also a potential for job generation and increased income for farmers resulting from the sales of biomass. Now we move on to the Cordillera, and they reported that they have partnered in launching a NICER project. NICER is niche centers for R&D in the regions. This is to protect against water shortage and flooding in Baguio City. In a bid to address water shortage and minimize flooding in the city, the DOST CAR, Local Government Unit of Baguio City, and the Ecosystems R&D Bureau of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources have jointly launched last August 9, 2021, a project to develop an artificial groundwater recharge facility for the replenishment of aquifers. The project is one of the components of the program Bundok, a mountain engineering center towards sustainable infrastructure and upland water security. A total funding of 10 million is allotted for the project, of which 7.5 million will come from the DOST Science for Change program, NICER. Okay, and the DOST CAR in close while the 2.5 million will come from the LGU of Baguio City as their counterpart. The DOST CAR, in close coordination with the Watershed and Water Resources Research, Development and Extension Center, one of the centers of DENR-ERDP, shall extend technical assistance and conduct related activities for the efficient implementation and improvement of the project. The project is seen not only to contribute in addressing natural calamities in the region, but also in protecting the lives, the livelihoods, and the natural resources in the Cordilleras. Of course, as well as recognizing the pivotal role of water on regional socioeconomic development and environmental preservation. The next, under Kaayusan, comes from DOST Region 11. They have reported that they have brightened a community in the Marilog district with solar power system. Davao City Science Technology Center, in partnership with the Ateneo de Davao University, which has a Mindanao Renewable Energy Center, which is also a NICER center, and Sunstruck Solar Solutions successfully installed a 3 kilowatt power hybrid grid tie solar photovoltaic system in Barangay Salaysay, Marilog District. They have installed this last July 29 to 30, 2021. Okay, so accordingly, with net metering, the solar PV system will bring down the cost of electricity at the barangay hall to almost zero, hence reducing the operational cost of the building. Meanwhile, with battery storage, the barangay hall, which also serves as evacuation center, will be able to have access to lighting and communication charging even during the times of power interruption. The barangay workers can also continue with their office work despite power outage. The system includes an inverter and battery storage with attached surge protection devices. Barangay Salaysay is categorized as one of the geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas. This project is part of the implementation of the DOST's Community Empowerment to Science and Technology. Now, under kinabukasan, DOST shared unveiled 30 new projects on human development industries. During the third leg of the Science and Innovation Budding Opportunities for Leverage, or CIBOL webinar series organized by PShared, various resource speakers coming from different institutions and the academy shared their new projects that would help students cope with remote learning in an engaging way. These are the following projects. There are 13. Number 1, resilient education information infrastructure for the new normal. Number 2, development of framework and materials for distance and remote learning via data casting. Number 3, mathematical resources for distance learning utilizing community, local networks and television frequencies. Number 4, establishment of a subcritical assembly for training, education, and research. They call it SATER. Number 5, diachronic representation and linguistic study of Filipino word senses across social and digital media context. Number 6, Philippine Science Centrum traveling exhibits. Number 7, design, implementation, and analysis of a digital or mobile game-based learning tool for primary and secondary education. Number 8, education game for chemistry in senior high school and junior high school sectors of Baguio City. Number 9, augmented reality-based lesson for the improvement of learning achievement in cell biology, and this is for the STEM curriculum. Number 10, physics simulator mobile game. Number 11, game-based learning platform for social studies. Okay. Number 13, augmented reality-based gamified local tourism and cultural heritage promotion and preservation. The global health crisis has pushed the Department of Education to implement emergency online education and emergency remote education, which are crisis response terms for online or remote instruction during an emergency. We have a report coming from DOST Region 5. They have launched a new web series. This is part of its effort to expand science and technology awareness and information in the Bicol region. They call the new DOST5 web series Alas Dos Na, Dos Kusyo Na, and this was launched last July 30. It is 2 p.m. on DOST5 official Facebook page and simulcasted on Radio Veritas Legazpi and Veritas TV. The pilot episode featured 2 segments, the Techno Ascenso or state-of-the-art farm, Posible sa Setup, where Mr. Ranulfo Cambi shared the story of Cambi Integrated Farm and their progress through the technology interventions of Setup. And the other one is Oragon, Kwentong Tagumpay, Kwentong DOST Scholar, where the Honorable John Paul Erlano talked on his experience and learnings as a DOST scholar and its impact on his endeavors as a board member of the 2nd District of Sorsogon. So this new web series is produced by DOST Region 5 S&T Promotion and Information Services. It is hosted by Regional Director Romel Serrano. And we have a report that DOST has explored collaboration with the U.S. Department of Agriculture, ARS, on recycling and plastic alternative research. Okay, so DOST conducted an exploratory talk with the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Agricultural Research Service, or USDA-ARS, last August 9 with the support from the U.S. Embassy in Manila. Jean Lester, the Agricultural Research Service National Program Leader, met with our own Dr. Leia Buendia, Assistant Secretary for International Cooperation, to discuss areas of mutual interest and collaborative mechanisms that both institutions could undertake. The Agricultural Research Service is the U.S. Department of Agriculture's principal scientific in-house research organization with the goal of providing scientific solutions to national and global agricultural challenges. One of the discussion's highlights was the possibility of collaborating on recycling and plastic alternative research, an area in which DOST has several ongoing researches and projects. The Agricultural Research Service pledged its support for the Philippines' efforts to adopt more biomaterials owing to its extensive experience. Okay. Present in the meeting was the Environment, Science, Technology, and Health Officer of the U.S. Embassy, Claire Bea, as well as our shared Executive Director, Enrico Paringit, and ITDI Director, Dr. Annabel Briones, and other technical staff of DOST, the USDA ASR, and the U.S. Embassy. Now, for our last item, this is kinabukasan na ito. DOST shared Vice for International Science Engagement Breakthrough Award. DOST Philippine Council for Industry, Energy, and Emerging Technology R&D enters the finals of the prestigious International Science Engagement Competition called Falling Walls Engage 2021 for its science communication social media campaign entitled Pinoy Science in partnership with TikTok. Out of 189 competitors around the world, DOST shared is among the top 50 finalists in the international field and will be vying to be included in the top 20 winners, which will be selected by the Polling Walls Advisory Board, composed of renowned scientists, communicators, and consultants with a variety of backgrounds and a shared expertise in the evaluation of science engagement projects. The winners will be announced on August 18 to 23. And from the top 20 winners, a breakthrough of the year will be selected during the Polling Walls Conference in November 2021. So we recall that the partnership between DOST Fisher and TikTok was forged earlier this 2021 to promote science and technology specifically through the Pinoy Science TikTok account. Okay, the top 20 winners of the Polling Walls Engage competition will get a chance to present their projects on stage of the Polling Walls Conference in front of an international audience of global leaders in science, politics, business, and media, which will also be the first inter-person gathering since the pandemic erupted. This will take place in Berlin, Germany, from November 7 to 9, 2021 on the anniversary of the historic fall of the Berlin Wall. Kaya pala Polling Walls Conference ang tawag. Okay? Polling Walls Engage is the global platform for science engagement hosted by the Polling Walls Foundation in cooperation with the Robert Stiftung, which aims to provide a better understanding and public involvement in science that can help tackle global societal challenges through fact-based decision-making and contribute to the overall well-being of society. This ends my report for this week. Onin, maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat po, Sekboy. Inyong natunghayan ng science and sa linggo ito. Sa aming pong pagbalik, kilalanin natin ang ilan sa mga magigiting na balik scientists ng Department of Science and Technology sa magbalik po yan ng DOST Report. Kayo po'y nakatutok sa DOST Report. Sa parte pong ito ng programa ay ating pagkakatuloy ang panayam sa ilang mga balik scientists na naimbitahan ni Secretary Boy para magbahagi ng kanilang karanasan sa ating ngayong hapon ito.
Tama ka, Onin. Ating aalamin ngayon mula sa ating mga inimbitahang balik scientists kung ano ang nag-udyok sa kanila para bumalik sa Pilipinas at kung ano ang masasabi nila tungkol sa ating science and technology ecosystem sa ngayon. At syempre, gusto rin natin malaman kung ano yung maituturing nilang mga highlights ng pagiging balik scientist nila.
Ayun. Kaya naman po, wag na po natin patagalin pa. Makasama po natin ang mga balik scientists na sina Dr. Annabel P. Villalobos, Consultant, Johnson & Johnson Biopharmaceuticals, 2012, 2014, 2017, 2019, and 2020 balik scientists. Thomas Neil B. Pascual, MD, MH, PhD, 2019 and 2020 balik scientists, DOST Philippine Nuclear Research Institute. Dr. Raymond Francis R. Sarmiento, MD, Director and Research Assistant Professor 5, National Telehealth Center, National Institutes of Health, University of the Philippines, Manila, Ermita, 2016 balik scientist.
Una natin kumustahin si Dr. Annabel Villalobos. Siya ay eksperto sa biopharmaceuticals at meron siyang mahabang karanasan sa Janssen Pharmaceuticals. Sabi nga nila, from lab to market. Ito ay sa Johnson & Johnson. Dr. Annabel?
Si Dr. Villalobos po ay isa ring corresponding member ng National Academy of Science and Technology of the Philippines o NASPIL at miyembro din ng Philippine American Academy of Science and Engineering at ng National Research Council of the Philippines. Maraming beses na rin po naging balik-scientist si Dr. Villalobos mula 2012, 2014, 2017, 2019 at 2020. Sa kasalukuyan, siya po isang medium-term balik-scientist sa Central Mindanao University kung saan ibinabahagi niya ang kanyang kalaman sa biodiversity, drug discovery at mga gawain upang makabuo ng partnership sa pagitan ng academe at ng industry kabilang na ang ilang mga US institutions.
Dr. Villalobos, maganda na ang katayuan mo sa ibang bansa. Ano ang nakahikayat sa iyo na maging balik scientist para magsilbi dito sa ating bansa?
Thank you very much for that question. Yes, I have a total of 5 stints already as a balik scientist. And there are 2 to 3 phases in each of the stint. And between stints, when I'm in the US, I'm still working as a balik scientist. Now, how I become a balik scientist, first of all, the moment I stepped in the US when I was a student and I saw a lot of chemistry books, I thought of giving back already to the Philippines and having those chemistry books sent to the Philippines. So I made arrangements with the department and they give me a box wherein students and professors can donate chemistry books and they sent it to the Philippines. And that was in 1985 actually. And I continued to do that while I was there. And also when I was already working in corporate pharma, they have state-of-the-art latest equipment. And the old ones, I send them whatever fits in the Balikbayan box to Central Mindanao University of Biochem. Now, what led me to be a balik scientist, that is giving back to the Philippines with my physical warm body? In 2009, I'd been reading a lot of papers by researchers from universities, and that's how I saw that science is separate from technology at that time, wherein the knowledge are generated in the university and they publish it. They do not even explore the potential products for the benefit of the people. And the technology is separate from whatever the university was doing because usually they are run by private sectors. So that led me in a way that how can I help the Philippines with my experience already as an expert in Johnson & Johnson for biofarm development from lab to market. So I thought of helping advance science and technology in the Philippines by coupling it with products and business remuneration as I was used in Johnson & Johnson. So I seriously considered that and then prepared myself. That was in 2009. And prepared myself in a way that if I wanted to go back to the Philippines with my warm body, I need to be prepared because this could be a short stint. So I need to have results right away. I couldn't just go there and then wait for another time like that and so on. So I asked my friends and former colleagues, and they told me that what they need as to whatever I could help to advance whatever they do are the lab instruments because they cannot analyze their materials. So what I did was to acquire those basic equipment. I brought them with me in addition to what I had been, Johnson & Johnson had been donating for years already. So the purpose is to establish a functional analytical laboratory. So that's how we started the expansive research that we have now in Central Mindanao University. And also the functional analytical lab attracted external grants from funding agencies. So that's how CMU went from an ordinary instruction university to a research university.
Alright. Dr. Villalobos, ilang beses na rin po kayo naging balik scientist. Ano po inyong masasabi sa S&T ecosystem sa Pilipinas? At paano po kayo nakapag-aambag para sa patuloy na paglago at pag-unlad dito?
Okay. Sa S&T ecosystem of the Philippines, as I can remember in 2012, that was weak, and if it exists at all, because there is no linking between the university knowledge generated from the university and technology. And with my 8-year span of being a balik scientist, I saw a lot of improvement. It's because of the programs by DOST. I would like to congratulate the DOST secretary here. And I could see that right away, especially with the Balik Scientist program, wherein new technologies and new science knowledge are being imparted by Filipinos who had been exposed in other countries. Just like how we work in the US, it's a bit different. You really have to focus, team worker, and so on, in order to deliver results. And that's what we do in pharmaceutical companies. And in that case, that means that what can I contribute to the Philippines? I said before that I wanted to improve science and technology in the Philippines, coupled with products and business remuneration. And this is the one that I really can be effective with my experience. I am a resource person for any projects in CMU and other universities that ask for my service. A trainer, a doer. I am really good in the lab. Evan Johnson and Johnson can attest to that, because whenever there is a critical data that the FDA needs, I am the one to do that in the lab, because I practically develop many of our drugs from the lab. So that's the one. As a trainer, which I have trained so many all over the country, and also as a mentor. Now, a good example is the COVID vaccine. Fill finish facility can be accommodated in the Philippines. That is for traditional vaccines like virus inactivated and attenuated. But for biotech derived or biotech related vaccines like mRNA vaccine and virus vector DNA vaccine, that needs a lot of additional skills, a new skill set, and a lot of experience. So I can play a lot in that. And also in the establishment of the Virology and Vaccine Institute of the Philippines, or VIP. This is really a great time and opportunities for researchers, scientists, and engineers, and allied professions or allied fields to work together as one in order to deliver products to the market, even with the vaccines for the Filipino people, and also for drugs or standardized herbal products coming from the Tuklas Lunas. That's a big opportunity. And I can help a lot on that one with my experience. Because I'm thinking all the time, I do not just want research without a plan as to what is it for.
What are some of the highlights in your engagement as Balik Scientist that you can mention?
First of all, CMU was not known before, and now it is in the map as a research university. We have garnered so many external grants, research grants, and then outpouring awards, regional and national categories, publications in with the AIDS index of researchers that spiked and continue to spike as we speak, which is unimaginable for CMU before. And then I was influential in the establishment of the 3 research centers in CMU. The first one is the Center for Biodiversity Research and Extension in Mindanao, or CBRIM, established in 2013 from the DA-BAR grant. The Natural Science Research Center, established in 2016 from the CHED grant. And then the Laboratory Service Natural Products Research and Development Center, established in 2018, that is from the CMU fund. So those are the ones. And the TAS-S Cure, which is a natural fungicide from an indigenous plant in Mindanao, which is now being worked for commercialization. And this indigenous plant is a go-to medicine of the Talaan Digs in Mindanao. So we are exploring that now as a source for antiviral. If it can be applied in COVID, that's our main aim, especially with the VIP being in the pipeline. And the last one, which is a surprise to me, which was presented to me just this year, they discovered a new species of beetle in Mount Hamigitan in Davao, and they named it after me. I couldn't even pronounce the first name, but the Villalobos, that's the one I can pronounce. And it is because of my outstanding support to the group help and advice. Whatever problem they have, even if I'm in the US, they can make a call 2 o'clock in the morning because of the time difference and so on. So we always do that.
Maraming salamat po, Dr. Villalobos. Ngayon naman po, ating kumustahin si Dr. Raymond Francis R. Sarmiento. Si Dr. Sarmiento is a physician scientist at siya'y dalubhasa sa Clinical and Public Health Informatics. Siya'y kasalukuyang direktor ng National Telehealth Center, National Institutes of Health sa University of the Philippines, Manila. Isa rin siyang clinical assistant professor sa UP College of Medicine's Medical Informatics Unit at ang Pangulo ng Philippine Medical Informatics Society. Siya rin ang chair ng Health Informatics for Development Working Group ng International Medical Informatics Association. Si Dr. Sarmiento rin ang representative ng Pilipinas sa WHO Working Group on Regulatory Considerations on Artificial Intelligence for Healthcare. Hindi lamang yan, si Dr. Sarmiento ginawaran ng National Academy of Science and Technology or NAST Philippines bilang isang outstanding young scientist sa field ng Public Health Informatics noong 2019. At napili siya bilang Global Fellows sa Young Physician Leaders Program of the Inter-Academy Partnership. Kamakailan ay kinilala siya ng JCI Philippines, TOYM Foundation at Jerry Ross Foundation bilang isa sa 2020 The Outstanding Young Men or TOYM for Medicine. Mukhang napakabisi po ni Dr. Sarmiento. Sir, ano naman po ang naging motivasyon niyo upang umuwi at maglingkod sa bansang Pilipinas?
Maraming salamat sa iyong katanungan, Onin. So habang ako po ay nagkakalap po talaga ng aking knowledge at nag-hone ng aking mga skills sa ibang bansa, which actually I spent nearly 5 years po bago po ako nakauwi. I was always keeping tabs kung ano po yung mga progreso na nangyayari po sa sektor ng e-health or digital health sa Pilipinas. Kinakailangan ko rin pong maintindihan kung meron din po tayong mga enabling environment para po malaman kung yung pong mga binabala ko po ng mga plano po yun ng mga panahong yon ay pwedeng maisakatuparan sa aking planong pagbabalik. So nung ako po ay nagkaroon din po ng pagkakataon na lingkod at makabalik po sa Pilipinas, kinuha ko po yung opportunity na yon para na rin po makapagbigay ng, let's say, ng kaalaman at technical expertise sa University of the Philippines and also sa Philippine e-health sector po. Nakatulong din po na marami din po sa aking mga dating mga mentor ay inalalayan din po ako sa aking pag-transition pabalik sa Pilipinas at malaking bahagi rin po ng aking pagdidesisyon para po makauwi ng Pilipinas ay yung aking pamilya dahil din po naiisip ko rin po lahat po ng aking mga nakalap na knowledge at learnings po at skills din po. Napakahalaga kung ito po ay mai-a-apply ko po pagbalik ko po sa Pilipinas para na rin po makatulong sa ating mga kababayan. So yun po ang aking let's say rason at motibasyon bakit po ako nagbalik sa Pilipinas.
Una kong nakilala si Dr. Sarmiento nung ako ay nag-chair ng Board of Judges ng TOYM. Doon ko siya unang na-meet at ako'y humanga sa kanyang mga nagawa at his young age. Anyway, Dr. Sarmiento has been very actively involved in our initiatives in addressing COVID-19. First of all, he is part of the, actually co-chair siya ng IATF sub-technical working group on ICT for data governance. He is also serving as the DICT overall policy lead for the COVID-19 Vaccine Information Management System or VIMS. At actually kasama din namin siya sa vaccine cluster. Siya naman ang nagre-represent ng Information and Communications Technology Department sa vaccine cluster ng NTF. At siyempre, kasama rin siya dun sa data management group ng NTF Intercluster at ng IATF Technical Working Group. Dr. Sarmiento, base sa iyong karanasan na ngayon dito sa Pilipinas, ano ang masasabi mo sa ating science and technology ecosystem sa ngayon at paano ka nakakapag-contribute para sa growth and development ng ating S&T sector?
Maraming salamat po sa katanungan, Secretary Boy. Sa aspeto po ng ating SNT, Science and Technology Ecosystem po, no? Yung pong pandemya, nakatulong po siya para masinagan po ng araw, kumbaga, yung ibang aspeto na may kakulangan po tayo as it relates to infrastructure, as it relates to certain programs in terms of preparedness and response and planning. However, it also gave us an opportunity to realize that there's a need to streamline and optimize all of these programs. So we now have, I believe this truly, we now have a wider sense of what needs to be done in the next 30 years as it is aligned with our ambition natin 2040. Also, with all of the efforts, may it be legislatively, yung pong pagsulong ng VVIP bill, yun din pong pagsulong ng Philippines na Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Yun lang po sa legislative. In terms po sa executive work na being done po, marami na rin pong naisusulong ang kagawaran ng science and technology po. Recently din po, if I may share, very important po are all of the calls for proposals in the past year for innovations in health and ICT in health po. As part of the COVID-19 response. Nakatulong po ito nung kami po ay nagsisimula bilang paunang miyembro yung ng FASTER team po when we were helping setting up the data warehouse as part of the government's decision-making ability po, no, which will essentially be based on the evidence to help out in the formation of the projections and the modeling po. Very important din po ang mga nagawa ng ating kagawaran, but not just the Department of Science and Technology but also other national government agencies. I was really impressed in terms of being able to have all of the different national government agencies work together using a science-based approach, and not just them but also together with the private sector to push forward the science and technology agenda. I also have been witness po in terms of the hard work being done in aligning all of the programs and in pushing the National Unified Health Research Agenda, and looking forward to the many years for the country in pushing forth our successes and our progress po in relation to health research and development.
Ano naman po ang may tuturing yung memorable moment bilang isang balik scientist?
Marami pong mga memorable moments po, no? Pero nabanggit na rin po ni Sec Boy, really is the participation po sa ating COVID-19 response. It's not every lifetime or every scientist who will be asked to help out and contribute to the government's COVID-19 response. And I feel fortunate enough to be given that opportunity to be able to apply what I know, lend my expertise, and provide technical assistance to the national COVID-19 response, and be able to say na, I may be future thinking na po, no, pag may mga apo na, but let's say mention in the future that I was part of that pandemic and was able to contribute in my own way to be able to push forward and help us get out of the pandemic po.
Maraming salamat po, Dr. Sarmiento. Ngayon naman, makakasama natin si Dr. Thomas Neil B. Pascual. Si Dr. Pascual ay isang nuclear medicine physician. Siya po ay Executive Director sa Asian School of Nuclear Medicine, ang educational arm ng Asian Regional Cooperative Council for Nuclear Medicine mula 2007. At noong 2018, naitalaga siya bilang Vice Dean ng parehong organisasyon. Siya ay isang professional staff member ng International Atomic Energy Agency or IAEA, isang ahensya ng United Nations at ng Intergovernmental Forum for Scientific and Technical Cooperation in the Peaceful Use of Nuclear Technology. Nakatulong po siya sa magbuo ng Arab Society of Nuclear Medicine at ng Japan Consortium of Universities and Institutions, mga institusyon na nagtataguyod sa nuclear medicine technology. Nakatanggap siya ng Merit Award mula sa IAEA noong 2014 at 2017. Noong February 2016, natanggap naman niya ang Distinguished Filipino Nuclear Medicine Award for International Leadership sa 50th anniversary ng Philippine Society of Nuclear Medicine. At noong March 2019, siya ay naging balik scientist at pinamunuan niya ang pagbuo ng Nuclear Medicine Research Agenda sa bansa.
Alam mo, Onin, ay una kong na-meet si Dr. Pascual sa Vienna, Austria, at yun ay during a general meeting or assembly of the International Atomic Energy Agency. I represented the Philippines and met with the then Director General Amano of IAEA. During that time, I recall that Director Amano was very emphatic about his giving priority to nuclear medicine, particularly to address the cases of so many dying of cancer, particularly among women. And there I got to know some of the statistics that some more than 70,000 Filipinos die from cancer yearly, and most of them do not get cancer diagnosis dahil expensive yung tinatawag na PET CT scan. So when we were in Vienna at the Philippine booth, ay nagkakusap kami ni Dr. Pascual at learning that he is into nuclear medicine. I sounded him off whether he can come home as a balik scientist. So hindi ko naman masasabing yun ang motivasyon niya na umuwi, yung aking pagkausap sa kanya, pero itatanong ko na rin, ano ang naging motivation ko, Dr. Pascual, to apply as a balik scientist and come home to the Philippines?
Maraming salamat po, Secretary De La Peña. And then, siguro masasabi ko na motivation po yung pagkakilala ko sa inyo na para makapasok sa Balik Scientist Program, or ito ay para bang nasusulat ng tadhana. I would say na during my stint as a technical officer in nuclear medicine at the International Atomic Energy Agency, I was able to help several developing member states in Asia Pacific, even in Africa, to improve the nuclear medicine technology from the grassroots level. And ito yung sa mga achievements ng nagawa ng organisasyon. Also, yun din ang aking natutunan throughout my service as an official of the IAEA. Then come 2000, nung na-meet ko po si SecBoy, kasama niya po si Director Arcilia ng Philippine National Research Institute. And then napag-usapan namin ang potential na maging balik scientist sa Pilipinas. Kataon po, the following year is my end of service na sa International Atomic Energy Agency, dahil nakapagsilbi na po ako ng 9 years, pero ako po ay nakatakda na magtrabaho sa Australia. Pero nung umuwi ako ng Pilipinas, before going to Australia, nag-usap muli kami ni Director Arcilia, and then we parang pinag-isipan mabuti yung discussion about sa Balik Scientist Program. And then at that time, I felt right as a Filipino na it's my time to contribute to improve the nuclear medicine climate or in nuclear medicine scenario in the Philippines. So after having so many years of experience at UN agency, I felt it's my time. I felt right to partake and give what I can to the Philippines in terms of nuclear medicine po. So after that po, nag-decide na po kami na to be a balik scientist, and then the rest is really history na. And then I've felt really happy to be able to contribute to improve the nuclear medicine scenario in the Philippines. So yun po ang dahilan. Parang the timing was really perfect na for the next years we have a very viable project on how we can actually improve this technology, and then to make this kind of technology accessible to the Filipino people. So yun po.
Alright. Dr. Pascual, ano naman po inyo masabi sa SNT ecosystem sa Pilipinas at paano po nakapag-aambag para sa patuloy na paglago at pag-unlad po nito?
Okay, thank you, Onin. In the past 2 years, I have noticed that the following things about the science and technology ecosystem in the Philippines. Number one, they're very proactive, meaning they're very proactive in information dissemination. They really use social media to call for projects which are very timely. And then they disseminate this information throughout all sectors, which leads to the next thing about the SNT ecosystem. Very reactive ang science and technology ecosystem sa Pilipinas kung ano nangyayari. So depende sa needs ng country, doon nagkakaroon ng mga priorities, be it from marine sciences or engineering up to the human health. So right at this very moment, so a lot of focus will be on COVID-19, but still there are projects on addressing the non-communicable diseases like cancer, and they are still of course supporting this project to make bigger initiatives accessible to the Filipino people. Having said that, engaging din ang SNT ecosystem, they engage all stakeholders para lahat ng bases covered to be able to have adequate project design, implementation, and assessment. And of course, there is support of the government through DOST by government funding. And then they do find ways on how to support the project and how to fund the project so that it can be realized by the Filipino people. So overall, I think my contribution of this is also being reactive to what are the needs of the Filipino people, including also in reflection to worldwide scenario. Right now, my focus will be on non-communicable diseases and cancer. So right now, we're doing things on how, like what Secretary Boy said, bringing in a nuclear medicine technology that could improve the cancer staging of the Filipino people. Meaning, we hope that we can actually make this technology mas abot kaya ng tao para ang pag-manage ng cancer ay mas mabuti compared sa dati. Yan po.
Ano po, Onin, ay kahit yung bagong Director General ng IAEA ay binibigyan niya ng very high priority ang paggamit ng nuclear medicine para sa cancer. Kaya nagpupumili tayo na sana ay makakuha ng budget para dun sa mga kailangan natin, yung mga cyclotron yata ang pinaka-importante doon na ma-install natin sa Philippine Nuclear Research Institute. Kaya lang ay napakalalaki ng mga halaga. Kaya siyempre hindi agad maisama sa ating budget, no? Kasi malaki ang halaga. Kaya siguro hihingi tayo ng tulong sa ating mga lawmakers na nag-approve ng budget na baka sakali pang magawa ng paraan na tayo ay mabigyan ng resource para dyan sa ating proyekto. Kasi busy tayo ngayon sa COVID-19, pero ang dami ng namamatay sa cancer ay 10 times sa namamatay sa COVID-19 dito sa atin. At karamihan nga ay hindi man lang nila nalalaman na sila ay cancer. No? So, Dr. Neil, Dr. Pascual, ano naman ang masasabi mong highlights so far ng iyong engagement as a balik scientist?
Secretary de la Peña, takes a question. Siguro masasabi ko po dalawa ang highlights among sa mga napakadami pa. Una-una ay pagiging instrumental sa National Nuclear Medicine Research Agenda na part ng National Unified Research Agenda ng Pilipinas. So itong initiative na to ay in-engage namin ang mga stakeholders na ilagay sa priority ang research sa nuclear medicine para sa ating bansa. So ito po ay bagong initiative na nagawa through sa aking engagement, and then napaka-importante nito na maging bahagi ng isang policy document na magsusuporta ng focus of research sa nuclear medicine mula ngayon hanggang sa kinabukasan. Actually, we're talking about generations beyond us na. So it's really good to be part of this para hindi makalimutan at magkaroon ng memory, institutional memory na importante ang nuclear medicine sa pangkalahatang agenda ng pananaliksik sa Pilipinas. Ang pangalawa po ay yung nabanggit niyo po na proyekto about sa Nuclear Medicine Research Development and Innovation Center na magkakaroon ng isang klaseng equipment or cyclotron at PET-CT na makakapag accurately stage ng pasyente kung anong level na siya ng cancer ay partly na ipasok na po, that means it's in the system na and then ginagawa na ng funding. So that means hindi ako nawawalan ng yung efforts natin, hindi nawawalan ng pag-asa na at pagdating ng panahon, itong klaseng teknolohiya na to ay maging abot kaya ng tao at ang ending nito makikinabang ay ang Filipino people, ang Filipino mismo. And it's good to be part of this project na right now ay nagsisimula na ang discussion about sa construction ng building kung saan to in a host at Secretary de la Peña, alam po, napakalaki na itong facility na to. Pero napakarami dapat technical knowledge na ipapasok dito para siguraduhin natin na makukuha ng Filipino ang tamang teknolohiya na nirekomenda natin. At again, sinasabi ko, hindi lang itong proyekto para sa panandalian lang. Ito ay really pang matagalan na hopefully magiging accessible na ito sa atin at tama na ang management po ng cancer para sa mga Filipino people. At importante, accessible or madali na lang mapasok sa kanilang pangangalaga. Yun po.
Alright. Maraming salamat po, Dr. Pascual, at sa ating mga panauhin sa mga nagnais po mag-inquire tungkol sa Balik Scientist Program ng DOST. Bisitahin lamang po ang kanilang website, dsp.dost.gov.ph o ang kanilang Facebook page, fb.com/balikscientists. Secretary Boy, baka may nais pa kayong pabatid sa ating po mga panauhin at mga taga-subaybay.
Una, pasasalamat kay Dr. Annabel Villalobos, kay Dr. Raymond Francis Sarmiento, at kay Dr. Thomas Neil Pascual sa pagpapaunlak nila sa aking imbitasyon na ma-interview ngayong araw na ito. Alam niyo, ang masasabi ko lang para sa ating mga taga-subaybay, ang mga pumupunta po sa atin ng mga balik scientist ay talaga namang world class. At siguro naman ay na-convince na kayo dun sa mga introduction at sa mga pahayag na ibinigay nila. At nagkataon naman po na ngayong araw na ito ay silang tatlo ay puro may kaugnayan sa kalusugan o sa health. Hindi ko naman pinlano na ganoon, ano? Nagkataon at kita naman natin sa iba't ibang mukha ng medical science and technology. Si Dr. Annabel Villalobos ay more on the pharmaceutical drug development at talaga namang nag-agree ako sa kanya na ang CMU noon ay isang ordinaryong instruction university lamang, ano? At pero ngayon ay totoo 'yon kasi nawi-witness ko yung mga awards na tinatanggap ng mga researchers doon, whether it is from PICARD or PCHRD. At sana nga magtuloy-tuloy na yon. At kay Dr. Francis naman, yung isang aking isang pet program ko noong nagsimula ako maging chairman ng e-government committee way back in 2002, talagang ang asam-asam ko para sa mula sa UP Manila itong telehealth, ano? At nagkataon naman nung nakaraan yata si Dr. Rosario related din sa telehealth na kanya ikinuwento, Arnulfo Rosario, at ngayon naman ay si Dr. Sarmiento. At kita naman natin, sabi nga ni Dr. Sarmiento, ay hindi inaasahan na patapat siya dito sa COVID pandemic na ito na kailangan ang mga eksperto dito sa field na ito. At kay Dr. Neil, ito yung talagang parang I feel some degree of success on my part kasi talaga namang nung nakita ko siya sa Vienna, sabi ko hindi ito dapat makawala. na umuwi sa Pilipinas, kailangan mapauwi ito at knowing his background and knowing the importance of nuclear medicine, particularly nga sa treatment ng cancer. Kaya yan ay isang napaka-high priority sa atin. At aasahan pa natin na meron pang madadagdag. In fact, tomorrow, meron akong Zoom meeting with the 7 new balik scientists who will be volunteering to serve in the setting up of the Neurology, Science and Technology Institute. Makakasama nyo din sila at mula sa iba't ibang linya rin ng kanilang pinanggagalingan. So, natutuwa naman ako dahil alam niyo yung ibang bansa, if I may cite ibang economists, yung cases ng Korea halimbawa, and our neighbor Taiwan, talagang nag-offer sila ng napakalalaking mga incentive para mapabalik yung kanilang mga scientists na nasa abroad. Talagang malalaking amount. Talagang merong incentive. Yun wala naman tayo. Ganoon, konti-konti lang ang ating na-i-offer, pero still ay nagkakaroon tayo ng mas maraming nagkaka-interest na magsilbi sa ating bayan. Kaya taos-pusong pasasalamat sa inyo, Dr. Villalobos, Dr. Sarmiento, Dr. Pascual. Salamat.
Maraming salamat po sa amin po mga bisita at sa amin pong pagbabalik sa sagutin ni Secretary Boy at ng ating mga panauhin ang tanong ng bayan. Huwag po kayong bibitiw, babalik pa ang DOST Report.
We are all living inside watersheds. Ang watersheds, ito ay bahagi ng ating kalupaan. It's part of the landscape that collects rainwater and store as much rainfall as it can underground so that we can have sustainable water supply even during summer days when there is no rain.
Oras na para sagutin ni Secretary Boy ang tanong ng bayan para po sa unang katanungan mula kay Mary Tenorio na Radyo Aguila. Tanong po niya ito kay Dr. Villalobos. Maraming nais maging DS pero hindi naging successful. Ano po ang pinagkaiba ninyo sa kanila? Bakit yun naging matagumpay na maging balik scientist? Yan pong tanong.
Thank you very much for that question. Actually, what made me take as a balik scientist, I think people in the Philippines really recognize balik scientists because wherever I go, when they know I'm a balik scientist, they wanted to team up with me. When I'm a speaker in a meeting and they are there, they will invite me to go to their universities and so on, or in organizations, or even students approach me to speak to senior high school students who are young and wanted to pursue in science. And I welcome them all the time, whoever it is, whether it's in mathematics or something, which is not my field actually, but I can contribute something. And I never turn down anything. That's why I go to Tuguegarao because it's arranged by the DOST for me to help their research proposal. And they become my partner until now, even in their other projects like from Picard. It was for PCHRD to Clas Lunas. And now I'm also a consultant in their Cradle project, the banana trips with Tadeco in Davao. So I am a consultant and practically very active in dealing with the analytical assays. So I think it's a matter of being friendly to everybody because as a balik scientist, people look up that this must be somebody who came back for something for the people. And they recognize it like that. Even the high school students. I think I influenced so many because I've already lectured in so many a Congress of High School Students in Mindanao and NCR. I even wonder why NCR is inviting me when I'm not from NCR. Maybe because I'm from industry.
Ito'y tanong para kay Dr. Sarmiento ni Horizon Chaser ng DWBL. Ano po ang maiiwanan yung alaala o legacy bilang isang balik scientist?
Maraming salamat sa katanungan, Horizon and Onin. Sa akin po, no, bilang isang scientist, I still consider myself na marami pa pong runway in terms of the work that needs to be done, the work that I can be able to contribute. The work that I am very interested in, very passionate in, and would want to set up is really to have the Philippines be one of the countries po when you talk about artificial intelligence in healthcare, be one of the countries that is top of mind when you're talking about that. And in order to do that, we have to be able to set up our data sets. We have to be able to make sure that we have the data at least for analysis, whether it's genomic data, whether it's having that genomic data connected to the electronic medical record system, having an integrated health information exchange system all across the Philippine health system, whether it's national, regional, and local. That's very, very important. The work that currently that I'm doing, not just in setting up all of these data warehouses and databases, but also having them connect using the latest standard international standard HL7 FHIR, which is Fast Healthcare Interoperability Resources, has been very, very successful, and we're proud to say that we have been able to contribute to the COVID-19 response by setting up a FHIR-enabled server and a warehouse that is able to connect all of the different health information systems that we have. And that's very happy to note that's one of the things that the Department of Health is able to provide the daily bulletins po, no, and the daily reports being churned out and analyzed, coming in also po from the DOH data drop. As a balik scientist, what I would want, and also coming from my alma mater, UP Manila, and from the Philippine General Hospital, one of the things that I'm very happy to note is recently we have resumed our discussion with the Philippine Council for Health Research and Development po on the computerization, full computerization of the Philippine General Hospital to serve as a national model for all healthcare facilities in the country. That we really are looking forward to the support that will be provided by the Department of Science and Technology to make this happen, Secretary Boy. And as part of that also, we want to be able to assure you that once this is set up, we anticipate that this will be the national model that could be replicated all across the country for all the hospitals po. And that's something that excites me, at sana po ito po ay makatuparan bilang isang alaala or legacy ko po as a balik scientist.
Ito'y tanong ni Lyndon Planilla ng Philippine Information Agency para po kay Dr. Pascual. Pwede ba kayong magbigay ng partikular na teknolohiya na isinusulong po ninyo?
Maraming salamat. Ang masasabi kong isang teknolohiya na nabanggit na kanina ay nuclear medicine, pero particular ay ang pag-produce ng radiopharmaceuticals o ang mga radioactive na gamot na pwedeng ma-inject sa tao para malaman kung anong stage na siya or level na siya ng cancer. Kadalasan sa ating scenario ngayon, sa clinical practice natin ngayon, isang uri lang ng gamot ang ginagamit para mag-stage ng cancer, at pag ginagamit ang isang technology na tinatawag na PET-CT or positron emission tomography imaging. Kapag naitayo na ang ating cyclotron facility, pwede ito mag-produce ng iba't iba pang klaseng gamot para magkaroon tayo ng idea kung ano pa ang pwedeng iba't ibang cancer ang pwede niyang ma-stage at makatulong sa clinical management ng tao. So right now kasi iisa lang ang nakikita natin, isang klaseng gamot lang ang napoproduce sa private sector. Hopefully kapag nagkaroon na ito sa PNRI ay may susulong na natin ang pananaliksik or research sa other types of radiopharmaceuticals na pwedeng magamit at ito rin ay magbibigay ng opportunity para maging or mag-provide ng research opportunities locally para maisulong ang ganitong teknolohiya at eventually ay magiging ang ating pangarap ay maging training center ito hindi lang sa Pilipinas pero sa Asian region. So kapag na-prioritize na po natin ang ganitong klaseng facility, alam naman natin na Filipino ay world class sa pag-aaral, sa pananaliksik. Pero kapag meron na tayo nito, pwede pa tayong tingnan ng ibang bansa para dito sila mag-train sa atin at tayo naman ang mag-export ng mga mananaliksik sa field ng radiopharmaceutical production and PET CT imaging.
Maraming po salamat. Maraming po salamat kay Dr. Annabel Villalobos, kay Dr. Raymond Frances Sarmiento at kay Dr. Thomas Neil Pascual. Maraming po salamat sa inyo pong panahon. Mga kaibigan, abangan nyo rin po ang Bantay Bulkanting Martes at Expert Talk Online tuwing Miyerkules alas 5 ng hapon kasama si Jen Miranda sa DOSTV Facebook page at YouTube channel. Mas marami pang balita mula sa mundo ng siyensya at teknolohiya ang ating pag-uusapan kaya tutok lamang kitong Biyernes alas 4 ng hapon dito sa DOSTV Facebook page. Ako po si Oren Miranda. Ito mga balitang may kinalaman sa siyensya at teknolohiya para sa bawat Pilipino straight from the S&T Authority ng bansa. Ito ang DOST Report